China has opposed the tariffs imposed by the United States and said that it will take necessary measures to safeguard its interests. Chinese Foreign Ministry Qnews said during a regular news conference, China has repeatedly stressed that there are no winners in trade wars and tariff wars, and there is no way out for protectionism. U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order that closes a trade loophole known as de minimis, has allowed low-value packages from China and Hong Kong to enter the United States free of duties.
中方多次强调，贸易战、关税战没有赢家，保护主义没有出路。中方敦促美方纠正错误做法，以平等、尊重、互惠的方式，同包括中国在内的世界各国磋商解决贸易分歧。
Japan has said it is extremely disappointed after sweeping tariffs announced by U.S. President Donald Trump. The Japanese Prime Minister has said his country had requested the United States exempt his country from the measures, which will include a 24% tariff on Japanese imports to the United States at various levels. As Asia digested the news, Japan's Nikkei share index slumped to an 8-month low, with U.S. and European stock futures also diving as investors scramble to the safety of bonds and gold. Singapore has said it was disappointed to be slapped with U.S. tariffs of 10%, despite the wealthy Asian financial hub having a free trade agreement and running a bilateral trade deficit with the United States. Trade Minister Gan Kim-yong told a press conference Singapore could take countermeasures under the free trade agreement in force since 2004, but has chosen not to do so. Gan said Singapore will try to engage the U.S. to understand President Donald Trump's areas of concern and see if they can be resolved. Singapore was hit by Trump's 10% base tariff on imports, albeit much lower than neighbors in Southeast Asia, where 6 countries were given tariffs of between 32% and 49%.
Under the FTA, we have
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has described U.S. Donald Trump's universal tariffs as a major blow to the world economy. She added that the European Union was prepared to respond with countermeasures if talks with Washington failed. Von der Leyen said she deeply regretted the U.S. move and warned of immense consequences for the global economy, including vulnerable countries facing some of the highest U.S. tariffs.
The global economy will massively suffer. Uncertainty will spike.
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has said U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs decision was fundamentally wrong and would harm the entire world economy. Scholz warned that the move undermines the international trade system, which he described as an American-built success that has fueled global prosperity. He vowed that the European Union would respond together, strong and proportionately, while prioritizing cooperation over confrontation. Scholz also noted that the tariffs would hurt the U.S. economy as well. The Spanish government will implement a 14.1 billion euro plan, which is equivalent to $15.66 billion to cushion the impact of the new U.S. tariffs on the Spanish economy. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez said the package will include 7.4 billion euros in new financing, and the rest will come from existing instruments such as soft loans. He said he was also asking the European Commission to set up a fund financed by revenues from tariffs on imports from the United States that will be increased in response to the move that he said was unfriendly and unjustified.
Para dar certidumbre entre tanta incertidumbre y también para anticipar los impactos arancelarios.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has said U.S. President Donald Trump's decision to impose a raft of tariffs will have an economic impact on Britain. Starmer said during a roundtable meeting with business leaders at 10 Downing Street, the UK will fight for the best deal. Britain was spared the most punitive treatment in Trump's tariff program, awarded the lowest levy rate on imports of 10%. But its economy remains vulnerable to a global slowdown and any escalating trade war.